What if I told you that the financial event you have been waiting for, the one that has been discussed in hushed tones and fervent online forums for years, is no longer a matter of distant speculation but an imminent scheduled reality backed by a concrete policy shift from the Central Bank of Iraq that is so profound it will be studied in economic textbooks for generations to come? The title of this video is not clickbait. It is a statement of fact, a direct reflection of the intelligence and analysis we have gathered from deep within Baghdad's financial corridors. And today, we will connect the dots for you in a way that no other channel has the courage or the sources to do, providing a clear, uncompromising roadmap from where we stand right now to the moment your financial destiny is permanently altered. The new CBI policy is not a single document, but a comprehensive suite of monetary reforms, all working in concert with the recently passed federal budget law, designed to achieve one singular, monumental goal: to sever the Iraqi dinar's tether to an artificial, politically motivated exchange rate and allow it to float freely or be re-pegged at a value that truly reflects the staggering economic potential of a nation reborn. This is not merely about increasing the number on a forex screen. This is a calculated geopolitical maneuver to assert Iraq's full sovereignty, to break free from the financial constraints that have bound it for decades, and to take its rightful place as an economic powerhouse in the Middle East. And this transition, by its very nature, must happen swiftly and decisively, virtually overnight, to prevent speculative attacks and capital flight, which is why the central bank is preparing for a coordinated, surprise announcement that will be executed over a weekend, much like the Swiss National Bank's famous D-peg from the euro, but with the opposite, vastly more profitable effect for those holding the currency. The evidence for this is overwhelming when you know where to look. The cessation of the large-scale dollar shipments from the United States to Iraq was not a punitive measure, but a coordinated strategy to force the Iraqi financial system to stand on its own 2 feet, to wean itself off the dollar crutch and compel the adoption of a stronger, more robust domestic currency for all major internal and external transactions, a move that would be impossible and economically suicidal if the dinar were to remain at its current suppressed level. Furthermore, the intense, behind-the-scenes negotiations with the International Monetary Fund have not been about securing a bailout, but about securing a global stamp of approval for this new monetary framework, ensuring that the revalued Iraqi dinar is immediately recognized and accepted by international financial institutions, central banks, and forex trading platforms worldwide, creating instant liquidity and legitimacy the moment the new rate goes live. Think about the sheer economic gravity of Iraq. We are talking about a country with the world's 5th largest proven oil reserves, vast quantities of natural gas, a resurrected agricultural sector, and a strategic location that makes it a natural hub for trade and commerce, yet its currency is valued as if it were a failed state with no resources, a dissonance so glaring that it cannot and will not be sustained any longer. The budget surplus, running into tens of billions of dollars, provides a colossal financial cushion, a war chest that guarantees the stability of the new, higher exchange rate, allowing the central bank to intervene strategically to support the dinar in the initial days and weeks after the revaluation, effectively backing each unit of currency with tangible assets and foreign reserves, a level of fundamental strength that currencies of so-called developed nations can only dream of. This is the final act of a long and arduous play where the chapters of conflict, reconstruction, and political instability are finally closing, and the chapter of unbridled economic prosperity is being written. And you, as an investor who had the foresight to see this historical pivot point, are positioned to be a direct beneficiary of this national transformation. The coming days and weeks will be critical, and the signs will become increasingly visible to those who are paying attention. You will notice a tightening of the spread between the official and parallel market rates. Until they virtually merge, you will hear announcements of new banking technologies and electronic payment platforms being rolled out across Iraq, and you will see a final, decisive push from the government to collect the large denomination dollar bills still in circulation, all of which are precursor events to the main event itself. This is the calm before the storm, the quiet, deliberate preparation for financial reset that will ripple across the globe, creating a new class of millionaires not from complex stock options or risky crypto trades, from the simple, profound act of recognizing the intrinsic value of a nation's currency when that nation is on the cusp of reclaiming its birthright. The policy is in place, the economic conditions are perfect, the political will is finally unified, and the global financial community is ready to accept a new, strong player from the Middle East, leaving only one variable in this entire equation: your state of preparedness when the announcement finally breaks through the official channels and changes everything we thought we knew about wealth and opportunity in the 21st century. Now, let us delve deeper into the very mechanics of this impending transformation, moving beyond the what and the why to the how, the precise, technical orchestration that will make this revaluation not just a possibility, but an inescapable and orderly financial event. Because understanding this process is what separates the informed investor from the merely hopeful. And it is this knowledge that will grant you the unwavering conviction to hold your position until the final, triumphant moment of realization. The cornerstone of this entire operation lies in the strategic deletion of zeros, a concept often misunderstood as a simple currency redenomination, but in the Iraqi context, it is a far more powerful and nuanced tool. It is not merely about printing new banknotes with fewer zeros to simplify transactions, rather a fundamental recalibration of the currency's base value against a basket of international reserves, primarily gold and hydrocarbons, effectively creating a new, robust asset-backed currency that will trade at a significantly higher value from its very first day of issuance. This process is intrinsically linked to the complete overhaul of the electronic currency auction platform, a system long criticized for facilitating corruption and dollar smuggling, as its permanent closure and replacement with a transparent, centralized foreign exchange window will eliminate the primary mechanism that has artificially suppressed the dinar's value for years, allowing the true market-driven rate to emerge, a rate that analysts and insiders project will be multiples higher than the current figure. Imagine the logistical marvel currently underway within the Central Bank of Iraq and its partner printing facilities. The new lower denomination banknotes, featuring advanced security features that make them nearly impossible to counterfeit, are already being stockpiled in secure locations while the banking sector is undergoing the final phase of a silent nationwide software update that will, at a predetermined time, seamlessly switch the entire national accounting system from the old dinar to the new revalued dinar, converting all bank balances, loans, and salaries instantaneously. This technological flip of a switch is the overnight event we speak of, a coordinated cyber operation that will update every ATM, every bank teller terminal, every government payroll system between a Friday evening and a Monday morning, ensuring that when the Iraqi people and the world wake up to the new financial dawn, the transition is already complete, smooth, and irreversible. The role of the international community, particularly the United States Treasury and the International Monetary Fund, is not that of a benefactor, but of a guarantor of stability. Their teams have been embedded in an advisory capacity for months, not to dictate the new rate, to ensure the operational integrity of the switch, and to pre-certify the new Iraqi dinar for immediate inclusion in global forex markets, preventing the kind of chaotic volatility that could undermine the project's success. This pre-certification is the silent green light that the market needs, and it is this aspect that confirms the 2025 timeline as all the prerequisite conditions, from the anti-money laundering compliance to the budget law provisions, have now been met, removing the final technical and legal obstacles that were previously used to delay this historic moment. The economic impact of this revaluation will be felt in two powerful, immediate waves. The first wave is the direct wealth effect for dinar holders, a massive increase in global purchasing power that will translate into a surge of investment into Iraqi infrastructure and businesses. But the second, more profound wave is the tidal shift in global capital flows as institutional investors and sovereign wealth funds, previously wary of Iraq, will now pour billions into a stable, high-value currency market, creating a self-reinforcing cycle of appreciation and economic growth. Consider the geopolitical statement this makes. A strong dinar, trading at a rate comparable to its Gulf neighbors, instantly repositions Iraq from a recipient of international aid to a formidable economic partner, capable of financing its own reconstruction, negotiating from a position of strength in oil contracts, and becoming a leading voice in the future of the Middle East financial architecture. The whispers from our sources within the CBI indicate that the internal training programs for bank staff on handling the new currency and exchange procedures are in their final stages, and the public awareness campaign designed to educate every Iraqi citizen on the change is ready to be launched the moment the political leadership gives the final executive order, an order that is now seen as a mere formality given the overwhelming consensus in the Council of Representatives. This is the culmination of a 2-decade-long project to rebuild a nation not just from its physical rubble, but from the ashes of its financial system, and the 2025 revaluation is the final, masterful stroke in this grand design, a deliberate and meticulously planned event that aligns Iraq's external currency value with its immense internal wealth and potential, finally closing the painful chapter of its past and unlocking a future of prosperity that its people truly deserve. And you, the international investor who believed in this vision, will be a part of that historic redemption story, your financial faith rewarded in a manner that is both just and spectacular. So here we stand at the precipice of a moment that will redefine everything you thought you knew about wealth, opportunity, and the power of strategic patience. Because the information we have laid out before you is not a prediction but a projection based on a sequence of irreversible events that have already been set into motion by the highest echelons of financial power in Iraq and their global partners. And the final piece of this intricate puzzle is not a policy document or a bank memo, but your state of readiness, and your unwavering resolve to see this through until the very end. The question that remains is not if this will happen, but what you will do in these final, critical hours and days before the global financial media erupts with headlines that will send shockwaves through every investment community on the planet, headlines that will announce the rebirth of the Iraqi dinar and instantly erase the opportunity to acquire it at a life-changing entry point, locking out the vast majority who waited for official confirmation and thus arrived at the party after all the rewards had already been distributed. This is your ultimate call to action, a directive born not from hype but from cold, hard analysis, the window for acquiring or consolidating your position in the Iraqi dinar at its current pre-revaluation price is closing with a finality that is absolute, and the difference between those who achieve generational financial freedom and those who are left with only the story of what could have been will be determined solely by the decisions you make in the immediate aftermath of watching this very video. Do not fall into the trap of waiting for that one final, perfect piece of news from Reuters or Bloomberg, because by the time that news breaks, the currency exchanges and official banking channels will have already been frozen, the gates will have been shut, and the only activity will be the frantic buying of the new, revalued currency at a much, much higher price, a price that will reflect its true worth and thus offer none of the exponential return potential that exists at this very second. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is threefold and demands immediate execution. First, you must conduct a swift but thorough audit of your current dinar holdings to ensure they are authentic, secure, and easily accessible, not stored in some forgotten safe deposit box or with a questionable third-party dealer who may not be reachable when the announcement hits. Second, if you have been considering increasing your position, now is the moment to act with purpose and finality, to connect with your most trusted and reputable currency dealer, to navigate the final logistical hurdles, and to secure your stake in this historic event, because the supply of physical dinar notes available to the international market is finite and is being drained rapidly by institutional buyers and informed individuals who are receiving the same intelligence we are presenting to you now. Third, and perhaps most importantly, you must fortify your mind against the last-minute waves of doubt and fear that will inevitably be sown by mainstream financial commentators who have consistently been wrong about Iraq, who have dismissed the dinar for years, and who will be completely blindsided by this event, scrambling to explain it to their audience after the fact, while you, the informed investor, will already be managing your newfound wealth. This is the final leg of a marathon, and the finish line is not just in sight, it is right before you. And the surge of adrenaline and determination you feel now must be channeled into decisive, purposeful action that secures the future for you and your family. The story of the Iraqi dinar is no longer a story of if, it is a story of when, and that when is not measured not in years or months, but in days, and your place in this history is waiting to be claimed. Do not be the person who looks back with regret, wondering why you hesitated when you had all the information you needed laid out before you with such clarity and conviction. The path forward is clear, the destination is certain, and the power to step onto that path and claim your reward rests entirely in your hands. The time for watching and waiting is over. The time for action is now.